So now that the recording started, this becomes telepathic. It's the same for all journeys. A group journey, an individual journey, a secondary implant removal journey, a primary implant review journey, which we don't even do anymore with a few exceptions. Any of those things all carry a unique ability to help a person recover who they are. Every one of them. Small groups, big groups, book review groups, chapter by chapter, those are important because we work with people over a much longer period of time, like 7 months. I don't know how long it's been. We're on chapter 33 tomorrow. The polar shift. This is about remembering much of what you were made to forget. That's why it's in the book, to trigger that awakening in people. All of you, I think, Quan and V, you both know you were around somewhere at the time of Lemriel, 100,000 years ago. You may not have been on Earth. You could have been on some other planet in the Galactic Alliance, flying spaceships. And you once knew that already a long time ago. How pathetic is it that we end up on Earth with no memory of any of that? Wondering where God is, wondering what this is, wondering why life is. Short little lives, purposefully shut down genetically so we live short lives that age quickly in 100 years. That is not normal at all. Every single living person on this planet, subconsciously and a lot of them consciously, know it's not normal, but they don't know how to fix it or change it. And they're not going to know how to fix it or change it if they don't wake up as an Atma, because the Atma awakened, enlightened, can change that. With the help of masterful teachers and scientists from other worlds, there's none of that on Earth available to people. In any institution, in any college, in any university, in any religion on the planet, in India, in Tibet, anywhere. It's not openly revealed. Any guru on the planet, none of them openly reveal how people can recover who they were before they were born and what they used to know. This is not done on Earth yet, except through this work so far. It is designed, this work, to help trigger a massive awakening of consciousness. This requires a lot more energy of the hue in the form of the golden white light, the sound that it makes, penetrating Earth's atmosphere through awakened beings to charge the water on Earth's planet. That is what needs to happen. So when we go on these journeys, even this one, we're doing the same thing. We're also helping to allow the hue to come through us to charge this planet. It takes boots on the ground, even a few. So that's important that I get that across to you two. Pari knows this, but I tell it to myself when I hear myself speak it telepathically. It's like hearing it for the first time, the enthusiasm, the genuineness, the honesty, the direct experiential nature of knowing is inspiring. It creates childlike wonder. It makes people move forward and onward and upward instead of just staying stuck going around in circles like everybody on Earth is doing right now. That's changing. Disclosure, the fact that it can even take place, which is underway primarily from the United States officially to the rest of the world. First to the United States people because that's the country we're in. But it's also being disclosed for the entire planet. Everybody that watches disclosure about UFOs that were photographed by military personnel and pilots and commercial pilots, people that were abducted 25 years ago, people that had all these experiences are all coming forward now. And in the United States, the Senate and Congress, these people that represent various states in the government, are demanding disclosure takes place now. They're not asking, they're demanding it. And Trump's begun that process. So we'll see where that goes. But it isn't just about telling people, somebody announcing on the primetime news at night that we lied, extraterrestrials exist. They're out there. Go about your business. Have your hamburger. Go to work, pay your taxes, and forget about it. Because that's just what people would do. They would forget about it. They'd go to the movies. They'd see movies about outer space, good and bad. Worlds attacked, worlds blown up, benevolent ETs coming here, they'd have both elements in feature films like they have now. And they still wouldn't know anything, except that the government said the extraterrestrials exist. Well, so what? Big deal. People already know that. That won't change anything. Disclosure that's underway is not under the control of people on this planet. And this is the only place on this entire planet where you'll hear this, even spoken. It is not being suppressed. There's no men in black from the government coming to my door or shutting down the satellite through Zoom through which we do these journeys. No one is doing that. It's not under the control of people on Earth. And people in the classified government, in the hidden government of this planet, know this. That's one of the things they're most afraid of revealing to people, that they're not in control of disclosure. It's been taken away from them or their egos, whatever it may be, and it's placed in the realm of billions upon hundreds of billions of citizens of other worlds who have voted to outvote the unconscious people on Earth. Because if they didn't start disclosure, Earth people would annihilate themselves. And it's known as a certain fact they would. It's not conjecture, it's not theory. They know from galactic history this world's people would destroy themselves without somebody coming from outside Earth to this world and helping us along. This is what's happened in other worlds. Earth is not a typical planet that has gone through a normal evolution like those that circle around binary and trinary star systems. It is not a normal planet. It circles one sun with a dead moon. It cannot function properly that way. There's a lot of reasons, technically, astronomically, in quantum physics, in the law of physics, in the laws of the universe. There's a lot of reasons why Earth has been set back so severely from other worlds. If you hadn't noticed, everything you've ever heard about UFOs and extraterrestrials in 70 years, there has never been an attack by aliens on this planet. God knows they have the technology to wipe us out or take us over in an hour. 10 minutes they could do it if they were bad guys. And in all this time, no big cockroaches and spaceships, no bad aliens have come here. No Klingons, no Romulans, none of that stuff. That's nice movies. I mean, they're nice to watch, but none of it's real as far as this world is concerned. There's no one out there going to come here and raid and bomb Earth. It's not like people think. I wish I could get this across to people. I can't force anyone on Earth to choose to recover who they are. They have to awaken enough courage to choose to do it. It's not that the way to do it is not available to people. It is through this work. It's out in the world. It's on YouTube. It's on Facebook. The books are done. They're out there. The screenplays are written. These are ready to go. It's people on Earth that must be ready to experience and have that come to them for their benefit. These projects, these books are designed from off-world to benefit this planet. It's just that simple. I couldn't make it any plainer. They're designed to help bring about a disclosure, true disclosure. I don't care if anybody believes it or not. I'm not here to get power or fame or fortune and have to get recognized by people. My job is to put it out in the public, make it available for people to find it. The laws of physics, the laws of the hue itself, is reciprocal. Every action creates an equal and opposite reaction in space-time, and this includes emotions and thoughts. So if people aren't putting out the emotions and thoughts to want to know, guess what? They don't. Disclosure is going to happen whether people want it or not, because if this was left up to the mass of people on this planet, or any of you, without help from outside this world, you would not survive the next 2 years. This world would not survive. The world, let's take it, the world would survive it. But life called humans on Earth would be gone. Much of the plant life, much of the animal life, the world would be fine. And then, when everybody's dead and gone, beings from outside Earth, as they've done in the past, would come back here and recolonize this place. And it would start all over for another 100,000 years. What a waste of time and energy. Who wants to go through that again? I don't. I know none of you do. Why would anybody on earth that's awake want to go through being born over and over again, unconscious in a baby body, grown up on a planet full of people who don't remember a thing about where they came from before this life? And who would want to continue to do that for the next billion years? It makes no sense. It is not common sense. It's nonsense. And there isn't any other way to look at this. When you're awake and you can imagine being out in the universe, like this journey we're going to go on today. This is a public recorded journey that will be on YouTube. Now, it's on YouTube. So why aren't people finding it? They do. Millions, in case Pari should know this, millions of people have found them. But they're not awake enough to see it slap them right in the head. They look at it and they just go right over their heads. It looks interesting, but they have no momentum or motivation to click something and watch something further. They've seen stuff glutting the worldwide internet and web about extraterrestrials. Not just that, but space movies. Anything you can think of is proliferated on the internet. Massive degrees of mindless entertainment. It's fun. I like many of the movies that are out there that come out of Hollywood. I'm a fan of much of it, especially space movies that are more enlightening and revealing, because they've really done a lot to try to bring about disclosure. Many of the people in those productions didn't even know what was influencing them to do what they did. Stargate SG-1, Stargate Atlantis, Star Trek, Star Wars, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, E.T. the Extra. These are all based entirely upon disclosure. Most outer space movies are about what's out there. People are fascinated by it. They're the biggest selling, highest cost, most dynamically challenging movies to make. And they're the most popular on the planet. Think about that for a minute. Why? Why is that so popular when no one on Earth has really technically gone to space? Not you. I mean, a few people went to the moon 50, 60 years ago in Apollo. People want to know what they've been made to forget. And it takes the form of manifesting what people show, calling science fiction, in the feature film marketplace worldwide, mostly of which is centered in Hollywood, in California, in the United States. Because that is where disclosure must begin. The most powerful country, the wealthiest country, has to begin this disclosure process, because other countries haven't got a ghost of a prayer of a chance of starting it themselves. This is not because the United States is more important or elitist or something over the countries. It's because the highest knowledge of life beyond Earth, the most technically reverse engineered scientific equipment based on extraterrestrials that was developed, is in the United States, still classified. So it has to come from here. No other country went to the moon in Apollo. Russia got to the moon. China's now there, all these decades later, has gone there and back. That's just launching something to the moon, landing a little remote vehicle and coming back here. That was done 60 years ago. Whoop-de-doo. That hasn't changed anything. So I'm telling you, disclosure is underway because you already know it. The more you know it, the more you'll see it. The less you know it, the less you'll be able to differentiate between mindless entertainment and stuff on the internet, YouTube and Facebook that really matters. You'll be able to see the difference clearly. You'll feel it in your heart center. You'll see the hue flowing through some and the lower energies of positive and negative and fear flowing through others. That's the best way I have of putting it. Conflict and resolution. You know, good and bad is in almost every kind of motion picture or book. because it's the nature of Earth and the way people see things. For the most part, it's not the nature of the universe out beyond Earth. There's no wars going on out there. None. And then look at Earth. Who's the most dangerous people in the universe right now? It's not ATs. It's people on Earth. Divided. No one government. No one religion. Everybody's in fear. That's not normal. So it's going to take beings coming here from the greater God people pray to every day. They have to come here to save us from ourselves, or we will not survive this transition into becoming a spacefaring race. If all life were extinguished on this planet, I can tell you it would not be the first time that would have happened. Think about it. Life's been here for 65 million years, since the big dinosaurs were deliberately made extinct. And they didn't evolve on Earth either. They didn't come out of the primordial seas and just spring into life. This was made up by people theorizing what they think happened. It's not provable. In any scientific circle, it cannot be proved. It cannot be proved that fish started walking on their fins and then became birds and then reptiles and then humans just sprung out of the ground somewhere. They evolved out in that great universe out there, amongst those trillions of stars and other worlds. They were brought here. There was never a Garden of Eden on this planet. People on Earth don't know this. It's out there in the ancient history they cannot and are afraid to remember. I'm sharing this with you telepathically because you need to remember. This is your responsibility now. You are now channels of the Hue expansion ray, which is designed to recharge Earth's depleted atmosphere. Once that's done, up goes the awareness, and everybody finds this work, and everybody finds and can accept. More important than finding this work is that they can accept beings, not me, but massive numbers of beings who are very enlightened, coming here to help us straighten out this world. How can people straighten out the Earth if they don't remember who they are? How can they change the negative nature on a mass scale of 8 billion people if they don't know who they are, if they can't remember? They can't change anything. Not that way. This is, of course, known quite well amongst the Galactic Alliance, for one, amongst the Zinternamus race, the Das Mentalis race, the Oceanan race, the Se race, Ambassador Torellian, Silent Mentors, Satnam, you name it, master teachers. They know quite well how suppressed and misdirected people on Earth, subconsciously misdirected. So we go on this journey, and this is part of the journey. The more you can become aware of what I'm sharing with you, by sharing it with you, the Hue moves through me, through you, from master teachers as well. It is universal, one conscious living power. It has no biases, no prejudices, not like people on Earth. And it is moving in a new direction, thank God, to change the way the lower worlds and the beings that are trapped on them and have been for billions of years, to straighten that mess out. Because the old experiment that created the galaxies out there and the stars was run by beings who were fans of, including all of us at one time, the old failed experiment of good and evil. Boy, did that one ever backfire. Whew. There's never been a greater backfire of a planned creation than that one. The creation's fine. The galaxies, the stars, all that stuff, the mechanics of the universe is just fine. It's some of the beings on some of the planets that are wrecked is the problem. They're supposed to be custodians and caretakers of worlds and star systems and galaxies and doorways and planes of existence. How many people on Earth even know as a single being they're running 5 different physical type forms on 5 different dimensional levels? Quantum physics bears this out. It's proven there's 11 higher dimensions at least in quantum physics alone, proven mathematically. But they don't know what they are, how to get to them. There's a difference between a theory or proving something and having the experience of what it is that is stated or shown to people. That's really important. Having the experience, somehow, against all odds, the experience has to wake up in people on Earth. There isn't anybody on Earth that has the capability or enlightenment or awareness anymore that can possibly help turn anything around here. Now we know that. Every guru and every religion on this planet for thousands of years has been doing this and doing that, saying this and saying that, and the world's been getting worse and worse and worse all through all of that. Because people are not encouraged to become responsible beings again. Grow up. Take their place among the stars from whence they came. We are required to become responsible co-creators with that source energy. This is not something we can avoid. It is not something we can get around or put it off till later. There's no putting it off till later. There's either life on Earth surviving or life on Earth ending. There's really no gray area at all. Because of what's happened out in the universe, which the Saber's Agenda books reveals for the first time on this planet, it's possible to now create a true disclosure. This was not possible 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40, 50, 60 years ago. It was not possible. That's how much things have changed out there. There's so much that we could do as far as going on a journey. Tremisteol, that is the Sayre's homeworld location, is sprouted out in a vast land the size of a planet. It is not located in the lower worlds of time and space. Now, this is a fact. How do you get people on Earth to even understand what's beyond time and space when all they know of is time and space in the atmosphere of Earth, and that's it? And they don't think they can comprehend the nature of those trillions of galaxies out there. The problem is they can, but they have no idea they can. They're not taught they can. They don't use the higher faculties that would allow them to do it. So they just say numb and run around in life until they're too old and then they pass away. And their fears drive them back to get in another body and try it again. You've been doing that for 1 billion years. It's time to wake up. We can go visit that home world. We've done it before. But I'm just making a point. There's dozens of silent mentor training facilities in the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. We want to mix it up with the creators, the maintainers, the mechanics of the entire multidimensional creation, silent mentors themselves, which never rubbed shoulders with any of us in hundreds of billions of years, separate order of beings. Now we can do that, but it cannot be done in the lower planes. It's required that we remember enough to go across the void into the upper realities and go rub shoulders with them where they will do it. Because there we're free of all fear, and rubbing shoulders with them can make sense. Down here it would make no sense. At least not yet. There are 3 planets, experimental worlds out in our galaxy, and 3 in the Andromeda galaxy next door to us, where very advanced masterful beings, forget about technology, they're so far beyond Earth that you can't even compare it in any system or planet or computer system or technological center on planet Earth. You can't even compare it. They're so much more advanced. There is Zontrea, Ontaron, and Temasculine. 3 worlds, all which circle trinary star systems, or binary at least, where experiments are being conducted directly applied to humans, like human beings, through masterful teachers, device technologies, the Hue Expansion Ray, the first sound behind creation, which they work through all their technology, all of it. It's required. If we don't use the energy that supports all those galaxies that surrounds them, and we're ignorant as a board about that, then we can't relate to the source, one's living power behind creation, and we don't advance. Beings that get across the stars, there have been some bad ones. They have been corralled, contained. They lost a war 500,000 years ago in our galaxy. It hasn't been another war since. The Cold War has come to an end between reptilians and grays and all that stuff people are so afraid of. That's why they're not on Earth anymore. They're not in our solar system. No one says that on the internet because they don't know it yet. Real disclosure would provide that awakening to people on this planet. That's just a tiny part of it. We understand that these experimental worlds in the Milky Way galaxy and in the Andromeda galaxy have corresponding places for developing new ways of implementing an unexpected, uplifting transformation for the terribly misguided and misdirected people of planet Earth and on other planetary systems. Experiments that are developed and then tested to work are then inspired to be created on these three worlds, so that what is done there can at some point be brought to Earth as part of the new Hue expansion ray energy. It's now moving for the first time within the omnipresent living one power, or first sound behind creation, that emanates directly from the source or prime creator. I don't care how smart or a genius or intelligent beings are in any world, until we start working in harmony with that one living power which comes from the source, until we start remembering who and what we are and what that source is, change does not occur, cannot occur. Any real enlightening, harmonious developments like one government on Earth, it doesn't matter what religion, but they all come to one understanding in their religious faith of what the life is that's out there that goes far beyond anything they were taught on Earth. And they incorporate that into their belief, then it enlightens them. Things can change. When people on Earth can cooperate with beings from other worlds, there won't be any problem with hunger or disease or dying of old age or genetic problems or cancer or any of the nonsense. Fleas and ticks and mosquitoes and infestations of microscopic life that competes with human beings does not exist on those worlds. More advanced planets, the first thing they would have done was get rid of those old forms of life because they're in competition with higher forms. And they're ancient. Mosquitoes were around the big dinosaur days, sucking blood from other creatures. This is ancient. But that's on Earth. Remember this. That's on Earth. How did that happen? What happened to Earth? Why did it happen? These are the questions people should be asking. They're not. PhD scientists don't ask such questions. They didn't grow up being inspired to ask about, source, how come there's all these advanced humans and other life out there traveling the stars and the speed of light has no relevance to them at all? They're starting to ask those questions now. Just starting in the last few years. That's why they came up with 0-point energy to call the energy of the universe. They know it's not physical. They know it's not atoms. They know it's not electrons. They know it's not atoms. They know it's not DNA. It's some kind of a living power out there. They know that now. They don't understand it. But they know it is not part of the physical matter in the universe. They used to call it dark matter. They don't call it that anymore. Because they know it's a powerful energy. They know they just can't see it with human eyes or hear it with human ears. Because those machines, those human forms, especially on Earth, are not designed to perceive or see or hear that. That's the problem. They're machines. It's the Atma, the being running that machine through the pineal gland, that understands this stuff. So we're not trying to wake up some hidden part of the brain. The brain in human beings doesn't need to be more enlightened or wake up some power center hidden in some of the brain cells that'll allow you to have the ability to levitate. No, it's not in the brain. That's not where that comes from. And more advanced people and more advanced races know full well where the energy comes from that makes these wondrous things happen. It isn't from brains and bodies, that's for sure. What is direct projection? This is the instantaneous travel from one point in creation to another, one place on a planet to another, where we are located on Earth to another planet, to a parallel dimension, or to far higher realities located beyond what certain esoteric groups on Earth refer to as the void. As the Atma, the spherical being we are not made of time, space, matter, atoms, and DNA, and are not limited to space, time, gravity, or the so-called speed of light. Note, there is no limit to the speed of light. You will not hear this anywhere on Earth. And people in their ignorance, highly trained PhD people, will argue with this because they think they've proven there's a limit to the speed of light. They haven't. All they've proven with their eyes and ears on Earth is that it goes at this rate of speed within Earth's atmosphere. And they try to use that as a base to determine how fast it goes out in space. So they limit it when it isn't limited. It doesn't take billions of years for the light from other galaxies to reach us. That they have completely wrong. And it keeps them stupid and ignorant on Earth from ever understanding the universe outside of Earth. They're supposed to know. So we need the more advanced, free thinking, free imagining, free beings from other worlds to come here and help us become more enlightened in this way. We are made of a pure source or prime creator living energy. This is not an energy combination of positive and negative atoms from the lower worlds of time and space. It is a true individual, what people on Earth refer to as soul. A spherical, individualized drop from the ocean of sound and light, the source or prime creator. We originated there. We originate from there. We didn't begin with bodies. We began running bodies first in the etheric plane, then worked our way all the way down to Earth. Quantum travel, people have asked me, what is it? There is no dictionary definition yet for what you are calling quantum travel. But in general, a quantum is a very tiny part of a vast quantum of the universe, made of energy that is not physical matter. The quantum travel references refer to the ability of the individual Atma to be located in one place and instantly arrive at the location of some other place. The Atma, not the physical body. More advanced beings running more advanced physical human forms can actually teleport their bodies from one planet to another, as long as there's an atmosphere to sustain it, without a spaceship, without a teleportation device. That is what our capabilities actually are. In the meantime, and for less evolved worlds, Galactic Alliance personnel have teleportation equipment. They have all this ability to greatly outpace the speed of what people on Earth think of as light. I mean, that is not a limit for them. They understand the doorways between dimensions in the physical universe. They traverse them. They navigate them. They've charted them out. This kind of thing that makes a person respect and find and respect all life in a much greater universe than just on their planet. Come on. Quantum travel, people are barring this in an attempt to describe direct projection. The quantum, the smallest amount or a unit of energy behind all things like atoms, the Atma, the size of which cannot be determined relative to matter or atoms. People have borrowed these terms from quantum physics. Just like they borrowed, there's a federation out in space. They got that from Gene Roddenberry's Star Trek. And I'm not criticizing that at all. I love the movies. But he got it from physicists at the time those TV series were made, then motion pictures. So I don't blame people for coming up with that, because what else are they taught on Earth that is? They call it a federation. It's not called a federation. True disclosure will also reveal this, so people can get their terms, their understanding of alien languages and all that awakened. See, all of this is telepathic preparation for this journey. What I've shared with you, I didn't pre-plan. I didn't write it down and script it out. This is the flow of wisdom from Source, through me, and from other beings I work with, to help you recover your awareness of it within yourself. That self is not your brain or your body. As you know, the more we go on these journeys, the more you're able to get your physical body and brain personality on earth enlightened and more brilliant and awake and receptive, humble to receive this greater wisdom from the Atma you are through your consciousness on earth. It'll raise your consciousness and awareness far beyond what any university in 1,000 years could ever teach you. In fact, in 1,000 years, they couldn't teach you any of it, the way learning institutions, so-called, are on this planet. They are created and maintained to keep people focused within Earth's atmosphere, day after day, year after year, lifetime after lifetime. Our job is to recover who and what we are that we were made to forget, period. That's it. And there's one answer to why we want to do that. There's one question. Why do I exist? There is only one answer. There's not 2 or 5 or 10. It's not theory. It's not religion. It's not faith. It's not belief. It is the truth known in the universe amongst the one power itself. We exist to be conscious co-creators with the source behind all life. We are also comprised of source energy. It is not separate from us, some kind of an energy being, and we're made of something lesser than that. We are not. We are identical as drops in a, it's like those stars. Think of all the stars that you see in a galaxy. Each one is round. Each one is an Atma. Each one is part of an incalculable amount of Atmas, drops in an ocean, individualized, floating out there, and we're still at the source. We always have been. Part of us, the truer part of us, never left. The multidimensional nature of things below the void is the way for us to experience all these levels. But in truth, we're still the spherical Atma, roving around a center we call the Source or Prime Creator. That has never changed. Where that is not in time and space, in fear or doubt or unconsciousness or subconscious minds, good guys and bad guys. No. Planet Earth is not a very evolved place at all. It doesn't even have one government or one belief system, forget belief, one experience-based system that would allow all beings to advance out into the universe and actually get to know their brothers and sisters from the stars and work with them and play with them. How much more enlightened do you think this planet would be when true disclosure really begins here? I'm not talking about the first couple of releases of some alien camera video and snapshots of alien craft that are exploring our skies. That's part of it, but that's only the beginning stages. They're testing us. They want to see how masses of people will react to the release of this information over time. Mostly they're afraid for themselves because of what those masses of people will do when they learn the truth. What leaders on earth don't yet understand, and they will, is that the way this information is being awakened in them is being done in a way where they will not desire to riot in the streets. This is important. Nobody talks about this. Nobody's aware of it. Nobody's saying it on the internet. It's not on YouTube. It's not on Facebook. It's not on Twitter. It's nowhere except out beyond Earth, where it is prevalent, pervasive, known everywhere except on this planet. This Earth has great potential. The beings on it are supposed to be responsibly taking care of their environment. We don't own this planet, no matter what anybody thinks. We don't own land or plots or homes or buildings that's all made up by people, divided artificially by some people in power. Said, okay, that's a plot and that's a plot. You pay this, you pay tax. It's all made up by people on earth. Has nothing to do with reality at all. Nobody can keep any of the stuff they have on earth. They can't take their body. We don't even own the bodies we're running. They're developed and they're born and we get into them, we run them. Mostly it's compulsive. People just compulsively get attached to another body when the old one wears out, and now they're on the journey again, still with no memory. That is not normal. Let's go into the hue, because the momentum of what I've shared with you will be carried into the journey. It's awakening you now. Shantiel and Tonaltiel and Dantiam and Lamtiam are standing beside two of us. I don't need to say which. And then other couples just as advanced as them are behind the other two of us. All they're doing is turning off your subconscious reactions of doubt and fear to anything. That's it. That way we go on the journey. When you come back, you bring back this enlightening energy called the hue expansion ray. It comes back through your spherical being and is channeled down through the body, around the pineal gland, out through and around the outside of the energy around the body into Earth's atmosphere. This makes us boots on the ground to begin to help make this happen. It's not a free ride. You pay your $20 and, somebody waves a magic wand and you're just free in the universe. That was tried billions of years ago. Whole systems were destroyed because people were given freedom with no wisdom about what to do with it, and they destroyed everything. Do you understand? This cannot be allowed to happen again this way. People have to recover their natural abilities as a godly person and the wisdom that goes with it so that they know how to never be vulnerable to be trapped again. That is the whole point, isn't it? Where's that tone come from? Yeah, I'm using my vocal cords. And you're hopefully saying it silently inside yourself. As an Atma, you're perfect singers. You don't have to learn how to make perfect tones or put them in harmony or make them beautiful. This isn't something that a body learns. Something a body learns on earth is for singing to people on earth, to other people. But the true singing in the universe that creates everything we see comes from sound. A sound that we manifest as individual Atmas with the source, the one omnipresent power that manifests all things we have the ability to imagine. If I can't imagine what Norexilam looks like, or Zetranami 1 or Oceania or Lemuria, I cannot go there. I cannot see it. It's not the brain and the body and personality that sees any of it anyway. There's no mechanism in your brain to see any of that. This is where people have got this all wrong on earth because they had no other choice. They had to make up stuff. Oh, my imagination, that comes from my brain. They can't prove to this day there's any place they can point to in the brain and say, imagination comes from here. They can claim they know that's where they think it comes from, but they wouldn't have a clue how it works or why. And the reason is because it's not in the brain. This is big stuff. We're actually making a connection to the omnipresent living power of the universe that is predominantly outside of Earth's atmosphere. It is space, all of space that tiny little galaxies float in, are suspended in. There's a mechanical nature to creation, far beyond the understanding of mechanics, celestial mechanics, I think it's called, for people on Earth, because they don't understand true celestial mechanics at all yet. Here's the irony. All the scientists and people on Earth once knew it well, and they don't remember it. So they try to theorize what they can imagine. And they've not been given half a chance to grow up really seeing into the multidimensional universe. When you're up near the ceiling where you live looking down on your body, that's exactly the same thing as you imagining going to the store. So none of you need to master this. But nobody encourages anybody on Earth from birth until the grave to look beyond Earth's atmosphere. Why they're running a body on Earth? To see beyond it. So all we're doing is looking at the body from the ceiling. It's exactly the same ability you have to see something superficial out in Earth's atmosphere, some place or location. We're moving that and focusing it out among the stars. Same complete faculty. It's not your brain on Earth that imagines going to the store. It's not programmed into your brain cells. You, the being running the body unconsciously for the most part, is what imagines the store. It is where your memory is. Memory is really not stored in the brain cells like people think. It comes from the mental body. You have 4 dimensions, major divisions above the physical planet Earth, where you have a body called the mental body you're running. You have a causal body, an etheric body above that, and an astral body. It's a whole dimension, a higher heaven above the physical universe. All emotion moves matter in 144 parallel dimensions of the astral plane. Do they call it astral there? Well, maybe, considering that language did not develop on this planet and was imported here. None of the races represented on Earth ever evolved on this planet. How can they explain on Earth, on one land masses, all the oceans around it, with 2 poles, 1 planet, 1 dead moon, and 1 sun, how can they explain all the physical variations of human beings on this Earth? It's not possible for all the races represented on Earth to have ever evolved here. They evolved on other world systems with binary or trinary stars, developing Asian eyes or Caucasian skin or African American or Aboriginal or small, short little Indians in South America or Indians in Siberia and North America, or all of this. They came from other world systems, all of them, where the predominant nature of human beings is like that on many worlds around several stars. This is the truth. That's part of true disclosure, too. No one's even begun to talk about this or imagine it. Except it is being openly shared with people of Earth through this work. I'm not doing this by myself. I didn't originate this from my little brain on this planet growing up here. Are you kidding? That's not possible. Where would I have learned this from? What college or university, what guru, what teacher could have taught me any of it? None of them. Not one. I had to get it from outside of Earth. And I had to spend an entire lifetime doing this and not being able to share with anybody any of it until recent years. When I first came to this planet, I came here to change it a long time ago. That mission was intercepted, just like it was for all of you. But what is underway now is beginning to complete a journey or a mission that I came here to do a long time ago. And I'm not alone in this. Galactic Alliance is involved. Master teachers on multiple dimensional levels are involved. Without them, I wouldn't even attempt it. As challenging as it's been anyway. What we're waiting for is for people on Earth to catch up. The work I'm doing doesn't need to be more developed. It doesn't need to be done another way. The books don't need to be rewritten, or 10 more books, or more audiobooks, or screenplays written, or any. It's all done. Took me a long time to realize we're waiting for people on Earth to catch up. That's what disclosure is. This should take place in the feature film marketplace and industry as well. Everything is prepped and ready for it. The technology, deeper stories, commercially bridged, they're all poised to take place at a certain time. I do not govern or control that timing. That's quite beyond my capability. But I am part of it. And so are you. When you're looking down on your body, there's a white golden light flowing down through the ceiling through you right now. It's passing through you as a spherical being. The physical form that looks you when you show each other, that's about 36, perfectly handsome, perfectly beautiful, has never been different. You were doing this kind of thing to show yourselves to each other before the lower worlds were even built. This is not new. And it's passing through the walls of your home into Earth's atmosphere, beginning to charge it here and there. I don't tell the hue where to go when it comes through me to you, to this planet. It knows full well where it wants to go, omnipresently. It's too big of a puzzle for me to solve on a planetary scale. Well, you think I'm supposed to know all the psychology and subconscious bends and pretzels and twists in a person's subconscious over billions of lives for each person on Earth? That would be quite impossible for any one individual. I can tell you the Galactic Alliance scientists, psychologists if you want to call them that, who really understand these different levels, know how to unravel these tight knots in people on Earth. But that technology and that awareness, free from reacting to fear, is not yet established or openly revealed on this planet. If it were, this place would change overnight, quite literally. So we're preparing for that. This energy moving through you becomes brighter. Then you can see Shantiel and Tonaltiel and Dantium and Lamtium and names I've not even brought up to people of Earth, all working in harmony together, leaving their bodies aboard ships out in our solar system just to guide you, just to be part of this. They want to see what would happen if the unconscious trapped people on Earth who don't remember anything, what it would be like if they were set free to contribute to the whole creation. This is what interests them. Understand this. They're motivated because they also know that all of you came from them. You were once relatives of those. They lost. They would like to resolve this dilemma as much as you would. Think about it. That energy brightens, and you find yourself in space surrounding Ambassador Turellian. He's showing you an 18-foot tall body. Can't miss it. It's always the same form he shows us. You've got this couple beside you, just keeping your fears off. They're not interfering with your psyche or invading your private space or reading your mind. They don't need to do any of that nonsense. They're just here to help. But they're also going on the journey wherever we go, and that benefits them, their homeworlds, the Galactic Alliance, every alliance of world systems in every galaxy. It benefits all of it. That is how we're supposed to be playing in the multidimensional universe. This is what was originally planned. It didn't work out. Now, finally, it can. Above Turelian is a big Atma, spherical, multiple spectrum colors of light, teardrop-shaped faculty layers, white core, violet exterior, lavender really, golden energy around it, just like you. You've got this form in a nicely dressed. Pari's over to my left, and Opelm's to my right, and Ramu is over to Pari's left, and Lightsea's in the circle across from us, just grinning at us. Turelian's got a quirky little smile on his face, two fists with thumbs up with a golden foot-thick light around it, brighter than the hue of space, because out here we see everything that you see black and dark blue in space and galaxy pictures as a white golden light. As the Atma sees it for what it is, it's not limited to physical eyes and physical bodies on Earth. They have a very small dimensional perspective, very small band of frequencies human eyes can detect. Mostly they're designed for Earth's atmosphere, light reflecting off of this and trees and people. They're not really designed to see things on higher dimensional levels. The Atma you are can. So out in space, you see Turelian. You see Etta and Din above him, tails glowing, grinning at us, wiggling their little fingers just for fun. Thumb, 4 fingers, big toe, little toes, just like a human. They do not have human bodies. They're organic species evolved on Oceania, and they can fly through the air. Anti-gravitic capabilities through their tail. Like a stingray shark or a fish that glows at the bottom of the ocean. Similar technology in the organic DNA of such species allows this to happen. So physical bodies could actually produce electromagnetic fields that would defy the gravity of a planet. It's called levitation. It's a good thing people on Earth can't remember to do that. It'd be running into each other. They'd kill each other off. And if only one country had it and everybody else didn't, other countries want to attack and take it. See, it can't work that way. Higher faculties have to be awake in all people who understand them. And then it's just fine to play with them because everybody would grow up knowing how to use them. There wouldn't be any question of it. People on Earth don't have that awakened them at all. So that has to be first. Out here in space, in the hue, omnipresent hue itself, the white golden light, the sound of deep humming like thunder is all around us. It's the sound the physical universe makes in all 144 parallel dimensions, each one a higher hum than one below it. When you get across a barrier between the astral and physical, you start exploring 144 parallel dimensions of the emotional worlds. The sound is more like the gentle sound of a wave consistently crashing on a beach. It changes. This is something you once knew well. You're running an astral body right now there, out in space. We are free of the burdens of the body, which back on Earth is in the trance state called sleep. No big deal. You put it there every night when you put the body to bed. So you all masters of it. You all know how to do it. If you didn't know how to do that, you couldn't run a physical body. It would die. As it needs the rest. You don't. Do you understand this? You are not made, you're not a physical body. You're an energy from the source itself. It doesn't rest or get fatigued or worry or have fear or any of that. Fear comes from fear of losing a physical thing you're attached to. That's it. It's understandable. Everybody's got it on Earth. But they think, in their ignorance, that life must be like that in other worlds. It is not. There's an energy vortex, hourglass shaped, whirling clockwise, high up above Etta and Din, and Satnam is standing below it. Why he even shows himself in the physical universe below a vortex that connects to the void and up to the Atma plane above the void, it's a mystery. It's part of the U expansion ray, something he's only recently begun to do in the last few years in the entire history of the multidimensional creation. To each side of him are two silent mentor couples, big atmas above them, 4 times bigger in diameter, twice as many layers of the spectrum of light of these teardrop-shaped layers of faculties. We have shape, we have form. It has substance, the atma. But it isn't the substance of a physical matter DNA body. It's not atoms. It is actual beings like the silent mentors that run and maintain the entire multidimensional creation, all the galaxies, all the planets, all the doorways, gravity, time, space, all of it. They're not here to trap people. They don't imprison people and make them forget. They've really had no or little dealing with any of us since the beginning. They have the most advanced and most free beings in creation. They don't have subconscious minds. Nobody has to worry about trusting them because they cannot be untrustworthy. Because we can see them on these journeys, they're in some way involved with us for the first time ever. This is true for the entire Galactic Alliance, Xentronomus, Oceanus, any of them. What is underway now was not available to the Galactic Alliance 100,000 years ago, even though there were master teachers back then who knew. The problem they had was just like the one we have today. How do you get sons and daughters and people you know aware of the multidimensional universe when they aren't raised, even in the Galactic Alliance, from birth to understand it? See the problem? So, the vortex is a golden white light. There's a blue-green water-like layers moving clockwise a little slower around that opening. And you can see your atmo all the way up through that vortex, bypassing the lower planes of time and space. That means all the physical dimensions, astral, causal, mental, and etheric, beyond the void to Satnam's realm, to the Hue Expansion Ray Academy, up through many dimensions above that, right to Agam Purusha's fiery realm, and right to Source. That is what that vortex does. We're adding our beings into that momentum. These other beings have helped put it there. We're adding to it. It is the sound from Source upon which we travel. It is the one living conscious power that is not an individual that manifests whatever we imagine into creation. Good, bad, anything and everything. So, as we awaken, we see the need for us to have mastery over what we imagine so that we choose not to imagine negative things. We choose not to dwell in fear of the present and future. This is a choice. So now we're going to go into the hue and we're going to add our energy all the way up through that vortex. It's going to plug right into the source from where it came, and then we go on more of a journey. First, we need to be responsible and creatively contribute to this. It's required. Phew. Yeah, we have to put a little bit of effort into using our bodies or from the Atma to co-create these things. The simple truth is, it doesn't matter who a person is on planet Earth at all. If they can't remember how to go to Venus or Mars or to another planet by utilizing their ability to see into the multidimensional universe as an Atma because they just won't look there, then they cannot know and they cannot remember. It is required of us to utilize our higher faculties of being to see things, places, locations, destinations, dimensions, doorways. Because when we can see them, then we can go there. The one power will take us there. This one power is not an individual, it doesn't have an ego. It does not determine where it will take us. We do. Sometimes it inspires us to see things we didn't earn, didn't put any effort in, like some of the gifts that come through these journeys for you, to help you begin to remember what these places look like, other planets, other star systems, craft from other worlds, advanced human, non-human, masterful beings, most of which don't and have never existed on planet Earth. Earth's not practically evolved enough to have most of them walking around the streets here. We have to grow up first. If we want to play among the stars out there, even running physical bodies all the way down the physical universe on planet Earth, then we have to be, obviously, respectful of the beings who would try to help us recover, who are not from Earth. If people on Earth can't do that, they are trapped here for good, and they will destroy themselves. Fortunately, the ability to destroy ourselves has been lifted from the planet's people. We are not given that authority. We don't own the planet we're residing on, and we don't have the right to blow it up. Doesn't matter who's got all the money or how big anyone's ego is or anything else. The fact is, anybody that big of an ego thinks they own something here. All they have to do is look out in space and see all those other stars and planets. They think they own that too? Because such people would want to go out there and take over those worlds in a nasty way for the resources or to claim they own them because they first traveled there. Well, this is never going to happen, not now, not ever, not in a billion years, because space is already occupied by far more advanced races. And we're not welcome to go play in their territory and screw it up. This is a fact. I'm not making this up. This is part of true disclosure. You're going to hear it here first before a government ever announces it. But then when that does happen, you'll begin to realize where this first came from, won't you? And it will be supported. Truth is true for all, or it's not true at all. This brighter light coming down through this vortex, we can see when we look up. It knows where we're going on this journey. So far, it's just been about being in space outside of Earth, getting plugged into the omnipresent spirit. People pray to it all day long. Talk it, tell them what they want. Give me this, give me that. It's all about give me this and give me that. It's never about what can I do for you? How can I serve? They're asking all the wrong questions all day long, every day. And they think they have the right to be blessed with all these healings and all this stuff when they're not willing to get off their rear end and change. No one's going to allow anybody on earth to play in some so-called heaven the way they are. because they take all of that subconscious junk, bias, prejudice, and everything else, and throw it up in heaven. The only thing we take with us when this body stops working is our state of consciousness, what we're aware of. This is why it's so important for people to recover being benevolent, normal beings, so they can play among the stars. And then the technology to play among the stars would not be deprived. No one would keep it from us. We'd be given it freely at no cost. It cannot and never will be allowed to be taxed. Let me make this clear. There will be no taxation of technologies brought here and revealed to people. Governments will, whether they like it or not, have to change in this regard. This is a good thing, not a bad thing. The Seres Agenda book is not really a book. It's a holographic projection, a history, and a present time of what's taking place out among the stars that makes it possible for transforming Earth to take place for the first time ever. The Parallel Time Trilogy books are about the history of the Galactic Alliance and worlds upon worlds without end, basically centered around 100,000 years ago. And there's more in those books than you can't compel people on Earth to understand it until they go on the journeys or until they can wake up enough to even imagine it. This is what's important. Being able to imagine where we want to be, who we are, and where we want to go. If you don't know how to get to Sahasradal Kanwal, this capital city of the astral plane, how are you going to go there? If you don't remember how to go to Satnam's realm across the void, you don't know what it looks like anymore, and you're so afraid even if I mention it, what the heck is he talking about? That's not in our religious books. You see the problem? It is in the spirituality of the higher realms that they pray to beyond Earth, the higher heavens. But they don't know this on Earth yet. And they have a right to, and they will know it. This kind of awareness has to be brought to Earth. There's two ways to do it. It comes here in mass to this planet. Great strain and stress on people who suddenly have to be thrust into waking up whether they like it or not. Or they have to go out among the stars while they're running a body on Earth and find it out. Because then they become a vehicle to help awaken the rest of life on this planet. That isn't just human life. Planets, animals, rocks, trees, air, water molecules. Particularly the water because it can store large amounts of the hue. It actually holds it so it vibrates an upward vibration, transforms consciousness, moves people up above the subconscious mind so they can begin to see what it is and undo it. This all has to do with the rate of vibration. If there's not enough you moving through you on Earth's atmosphere, there's no way you'll ever become aware of it. We're going to go to Norexilam today. Why? Well, that's what Satnam suggested. They won't say any more about it than that. Actually, if I hear him suggest something, he normally doesn't even want me to share that with you. He just does it. He doesn't need the recognition from you. They're not driven by such things. Ambassador Trellian raises his right fist with his thumb up, the lights around it, about a foot thick. And he points out between the earth and the moon into the deeper space. He's creating an oval, transparent, golden hall, like 4 inches thick of this light around us, like a spaceship. Consider it a spaceship made of the energy from source surrounding us. It has no limitations. Speed of light has nothing to do with it. Gravity can't affect it. It cannot be penetrated by anything in the lower worlds, negative and positive, for instance. The sound coming from the energy surrounding us is the high note of a flute. It's source sound. And suddenly we're beamed in a blur of light out between the Earth and the Moon, and we find ourselves high above the Milky Way galaxy. Out in that, remember, it looks black or dark blue to you, right? To the body. But to you as an Atma in this oval light, it looks like everywhere a golden white light. And the presence of that light is not coming from stars. Understand this. The energy itself, the one omnipresent living power, radiates a glow simultaneously everywhere. It's a type of energy that you can see while you see the individual light from a star separate, distinct, floating in it. Now, if I don't describe this to you, you won't comprehend the ability to see it. Or you won't use the higher faculties of Atma that are awake in you now to see it. Simple as that. Remember, the beings that are beside you here, inside this oval light around Terrellian, are from the Galactic Alliance. And they're keeping your fears turned off so you can do this. You look down into the solar system, you see 7 spiral arms centering around the big massive star cluster in the center. And as you know, the axis is not a black hole. It is an interdimensional doorway, a portal between that physical galaxy and other galaxies above it, all the way back to source. They are concentric generators, galaxies. So is a planet. Through the poles, stars, all portals or doorways through which the one omnipresent power flows to maintain their actual beings. Silent mentor couple aside to the Milky Way galaxy that hold it in place. They know what they're doing. Beings do that. They don't just float out there by accident. Who could possibly look people on Earth? Well, there's a big bang, there was nothing, and then it just exploded. Duh. A nothing exploded and created up. That's like people trying to make something out of nothing because they don't know. You do know that the Big Bang Theory is no longer prevalent in most scientific higher circles of thinking now because they've seen so far out into the universe now. It does not apply anymore. You need to understand this on this journey so you can expand your ability to see into the higher realities. You look down in the 7 spiral arms. We're going out in space, all the way down above Earth again, out in space, and then we're moving out through space in that 1 spiral arm where Earth is, and we're going over into the area, towards the area that people on Earth call the Pleiades star group. It's part of a constellation. 7 sisters, big, bright, young, hot, blue, white stars and planets around them. There are more than 7. We're going beyond them into area of space and stars far beyond them, still within our spiral arm. More than 500 light years away. More like 1,000. And we suddenly find ourselves stopped hovering above a planet. It's 3 times bigger than Earth. 3 continents around the equator. No polar ice caps. There are several moons around it. You figure out how many. The size of Earth. No polar ice caps orbiting this planet. There's a trinary star system that Norexilam orbits around. And that's what the name of this planet is, Norexilam. It is one of hundreds of worlds surrounding many star systems that make up a certain area of the Galactic Alliance. We're going to the central continent, which is centered over the equator, like the other 2. And we find ourselves suddenly out in a beautiful lavender field of tall grass. There are massive trees, mile high, the size like giant redwood trees. The trunks look like that. And the branches come out, but they're not not needles on them, but broad, spoon-shaped, luminous leaves. But the bark of the tree looks like a redwood tree on Earth. There's a whole forest of them up against this huge bluestone mountain range. There are domed homes connected by triangular walkways, all the way up in spiraling up into these trees. These trees are hundreds of feet across. Branches are gigantic. And you look behind you and you see three clear, they're geodesic type homes in a triangular formation. The air here is vibrant with luminous light. The waterfalls out coming down the mountains behind this forest are glowing. You see this three geodesic dome complex in a grassed field of botanical garden paradise, about 20 acres. And off in the distance, 20 acres away, you can see another home, and off another direction, another home. No fences. The triangular walkways are 15 feet high, transparent. There's a botanical garden in the center of it, where organic food is grown. This is beyond solar power that powers these homes. There are waterfalls, 3-tier, 20, 30 feet high, built out into the landscape. With recycling water, it glows, flowering plants everywhere. You can see one of these domes has another third the size of the dome on top. It's clear. And there's a door, a rectangular door that opens. It's an observatory atop the structure, the living quarters below it. Another one is like a kitchen dome. You can see inside it's got octagon shelves all the way around a central aisle. Another dome is a living quarters dome, the one we're looking at, first one we see. Inside is a pool. It's lined with these faceted crystals. There's fiber optic type lighting around the ceiling, spiral staircases that go up to 2/3 of the way up to a higher level where there are bedrooms. I'm sharing some private stuff here, but this was my home on Norexilam. Long time ago now. Well, not a long time in history, but you're looking at an individual dwelling. Nobody pays taxes here. Nobody works for a living. The air is pure. The beings here do not have subconscious minds. This is one of the planetary systems in the galactic interdimensional alliance of free worlds, which is comprised of more than 450 million spacefaring world systems, not individual planets, whole world systems around whole stars, most of them trinary star groups, some binary, 2 suns or 3. You're going to understand this in disclosure. The closest sun to Earth's sun is a binary star system. It's not even just one sun. Look it up. The most advanced astrophysicists understand that most of the suns in our galaxy are trinary, 3 suns or more around which planets revolve. This is far more complex than science on Earth has developed to comprehend yet, but they do know that that's what they are now. They can't see any of the planets yet, see what's on them, but they can detect them. This is all preparation for one thing. It is not preparation for people on Earth to figure out the grand multidimensional nature of creation as they are on Earth, because they'll never do it. Never. Still playing with rocket ships. Anti-gravitic propulsion, interdimensional doorway and portal travel is part of the future for this planet. We don't have the time to develop it. We don't need to. Remember, you were all part of developing and working with it before this life anyway. So what's the big deal? That was my home. I may get back there. I may not. This depends on the consciousness of who I was married to, the consciousness of the people at the time, what they choose to do, where I am on Earth. I don't have the body I had then. It was destroyed. So there is anything is possible, but I'm also much more aware running a body on Earth than I was then. Or as Captain Calum, for instance. That was 100,000 years ago. The manifestation of this work on this planet was not expected by me. I didn't see it coming. I was preparing for it all my life and not being able to speak with anybody about it. I was writing like a lunatic or a monk in a cave for decades. And then this whole guided journey thing sprung out of this because I was capable of doing it. But I'm not doing it alone. I wouldn't do it without Torelli and Satnam and others. I just wouldn't even think about it. There's a disc-shaped platform in one room in the living quarters to the right side of the pool. If you walk through it, you'll see a disc-shaped teleportation platform. Like a monolith about 4 feet high, has little faceted crystal controls on it. So we're going to go through that as a mechanism. We don't need to. And we're going to all hover in a circle around Torellian above this disc-shaped platform. And then it turns on. And we're whisked away in a whirl of golden white light and come out of another one out in a courtyard surrounded by little rivers, little waterfalls, parks, flowers, and in the distance a number of crystalline, transparent, pyramidal, spherical, and tripod legs. This is a government center. There's no massive skyscrapers. There are thousands of people busily coming out of many of these teleportation doorways who work here. They don't live here. They work here to create new ways of doing things that will benefit not only the 450 million worlds of the Galactic Alliance, but all the worlds in the Zeontranomon planetary system, all the worlds in the entire Galactic Alliance. They grow up being motivated. Well, they have photographic memories, telepathic. I mean, they know PhDs, forget it. Most of them at age 10 have like an equivalent of 10 PhDs in learning and understanding on this planet. And they're human. 4-stranded DNA. So we're sitting in a circle around Torellian, and 2 couples walk up to us from the Galactic Alliance. And Shantial and Tonatial and Dantium and Lamtium. They're not standing beside the 2 of us they were. And they approach and walk right into the oval light Torellian's projecting. And they take their place beside 2 of you. So you get an understanding of where this comes from. And we're in space suddenly inside this oval light surrounding Torellian. And you can see that the vortex to the source itself has traveled with us here. It's in space above Norexilam. The silent mentor couple in Satnam disappear up in the vortex, and we're projected up in a beam of light right up through the vortex. We come out the other side, and we are traveling deep inside, upward, in what is called the void. It is a vast cobalt blue space of light. There's nothing solid here. No beings. You can't see any beings. There's no things here. So it's called the void. But it's packed full of the one source hue energy. It is a barrier between the lower worlds of time and space and the first realm above it, where we're approaching. You see a white diamond-like beach, luminous a foot above the sand, stretching as far as you can see. We're approaching a huge landmass, floating in this cobalt blue space, just at the upper edge of it. The beach extends as far as you can see, left and right, circles. It turns in on itself. It circles a circular landmass. There's everything in the universe that works properly is circular, round, or pyramidal. Remember this. Spheres are based on the pyramid that fits inside them. Or vice versa. You can look at it both ways. There are jungle trees here massively taller than anything on Earth, made of every kind of tree you can think of, every fruit tree, giant redwoods, eucalyptus, oak, perfect, weeping willows. You'll find a weeping willows in several of the master teacher silent mentor facilities in the U Expansionary Academy. Satnam is now hovering above the treetop and moving inland. In the distance, you can see what's a diagonal, upper left to lower right, bluestone snow-capped mountain range, quite big. Below us is a clearing 100 feet across, white marble stone. Fountain in it, scalloped white edges, 15 feet across, statue of Satnam standing in it. Little white tunic dress from his waist down to his bare ankles, ripped, strongly built. That's what he manifests. 2 gold bracelets on each of his upper arms. I still don't know what those are for. Bald head, golden eyes. He has the skin tone of someone from India, but he's not Indian. Big Atma hovering above him. This is the statue. There's a golden shaft of white light coming down into this device. He's pointing to it. It flows through the open palms of his hands, fills this bowl, drops over the edge in a glistening luminous sheet, and vanishes down behind a circular white stone sitting seat like a donut. 12 scrolled white stone legs support it. In the distance, you can see these foot-thick golden steps, like leading up to a palatial estate like you'd see in Rome. There's 2 big blue lapis lazuli gold-laced pyramid stones. They look like that, holding up a square pyramidal golden-sided quartz-capped roof. And below it is a blue quartz-like chair, curved, polished edges, sitting in the middle, up 3 tiers of stones right in the middle, shaft of white golden light coming down into it, and behind it, near the mountain's base, is a 15-foot high triangular golden open way. It goes into botanical paradise, and there is a much larger fountain. It's blue scalloped edge. It's 100 feet across. Flowing up and down in it, moving up and down simultaneously, is a blue-green luminous water, like the form of the shape of a fir tree, and a shaft of white golden light coming down into it. That's one of many interdimensional doorways. Turelian suddenly projects us inside this circle, this oval light, right up into the shaft of that, above this tree, and we come out the other end. We're now moving at high speed, horizontally into the distance, and we see in the distance a huge floating circular landmass. It is surrounded by an even brighter cobalt blue space of light. There are no suns, no planets, no stars, no moons, no meteors, none of that stuff. Because everything here, including us, produces our own light. The mountains, the land, the white roadways going off in every direction from a central nucleus of 6 blue stone snow-covered mountains surrounding a donut-shaped luminous blue-green lake, in the center of which is an island, a white disc-shaped island. A huge tower, perfectly smooth, deep cobalt blue glass, rises up, tapering inward to two-thirds of the way up. There's a flattened spherical area, goes up to a minaret point. And inside that flattened spherical area is another fountain. There's no statue of Satnam in it. It's blue scalloped edged. There's a shaft of white golden light coming down into it. We are moving over the top of this shoreline because that beach has an even brighter diamond-like beach surrounding. Off to the left, to the west, you can see a perfectly formed, continuously crashing, blue, slightly tinged green wave humming as it crashes around this beach. It moves clockwise and completely circles the landmass and comes back to where it started. It is a device the silent mentors use to maintain this place in the cobalt blue space. It didn't exist before a few years ago. Maybe 8 or 10 it started being built. It exists in a special parallel dimension, which Torellian's sharing with you telepathically, between the top of Satnam's realm and the 6th dimension. And it is called the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. We're sailing over the top of a vast countryside. You can see white stone roadways coming out of horseshoe-shaped luminous golden tunnels cut into the side of the 6 mountains. They go straight as an arrow, like from the spokes of a bicycle hub out to the beach. And along each roadway, to the left and then to the right and then to the left, are clearings. And these are all teaching facilities. We're suddenly hovering above the very point of the top of the Hue Expansion Ray Academy Tower, looking in every direction. You can see vast lands, mountain ranges, whole pasture lands, different animals, different beings, Atmas hovering above all of them, learning how to respect each other in a place where no fear exists. We find ourselves suddenly moving down the central roadway in the northwestern quadrant, like dividing a pizza with a cross down the middle of it. North, south, east, and west. We're going to the northwestern quadrant. We 2/3 of the way down the road, Torellian turns into a vast circular clearing. In the clearing is a white stone floor, maybe several hundred feet across, and a blue 4-foot in diameter, blue quartz-like, transparent, glass-like sphere with a cobalt blue star radiating in the center of it. There is a shaft of white golden light coming down into that star. It is a device. Surrounding the outer circumference of this stone floor are 12 weeping willow-type trees with broad spoon-shaped leaves, like they have in the redwood trees on Norexilam. But these are weeping willow trees. Standing atop all 12, alternating male and female, is a silent mentor. Each has a different long hair to their shoulders, a different color, each wearing a different luminous pastel-colored robe, each with different skin color, no facial features. When you look in their faces, it's a white golden light, and you can see galaxies upon galaxies. And they dwell and think this way. Above them is hovering an Atma 4 times bigger than us, twice as many layers of the spectrum of light around a brighter core. These are silent mentors. This is one of their many training facilities. And we're in a circle around this sphere with the star in it. Torellian's hovering up inside the shaft of golden white light. as a doorway, and we're in a circle around this sphere between it and the silent mentors. And we hover upward until we're up at the eye level with the silent mentors. There's an energy of a white golden light, individual shaft of light coming down to each one. It comes from the source itself, from their realm. I have yet to take you people on there. It's above the ocean of sound and light. It's above Prime Creator. It is the realm of the silent mentors. They have a realm. The light moving down through this shaft over each one is passing through them, through the forms, through the heart center of the physical forms they show us. It's passing into the human-looking forms you show them. That looks to be about 36. It's moving up through the Atma we are hovering above it, and it goes right into Terrellian and up that main shaft all the way to Source. Then it reverses its energy and goes the other way. What is happening here is that we are experiencing rubbing shoulders between Master Teacher, represented by Terrellian, and Silent Mentors on the other side. We're rubbing shoulders with those beings who maintain and manage the entire multidimensional creation. This is the one place where we can do this. And then we suddenly find ourselves in space high above the entire floating landmass of the U Expansionary Academy. That vortex is continuing above us, and we can see up at the other end of it a fiery realm. We can see all the colors of the rainbow fiery and moving around each other and swirling. It is the raw power of eternity before it's been manifested into form. We're still in this circle around Terrellian, inside this oval transparent light he's creating with his closed fist, thumbs up. I'm standing beside him. Satnam's standing on the other side of him. The sound of a single note of a flute draws us upward, and we're projected all the way up many dimensions above the Hue Expansionary Academy until we come out into a fiery realm. It's just like gargoyles coming out of the woodwork and dissolving away and moving all around us. We're not harmed. A massive being, bigger than Satnam, massive, almost bright light, golden light with subtle rainbow colors in it approaches us. This is Agam Parusha. He telepathically shares with us that we have permission to go into what we now see in the background behind him, which is a massive silver golden tree, like a fir tree, with massive roots sinking down into, there is no ground, into this fiery light. And there's a golden white light running up and down the trunk of this tree. Every needle of every branch on that tree, when you pass it, as we're moving in through the branches towards the trunk, we can see a different place located in the universe. Etheric, mental, causal, astral, physical, galaxies, stars, planets, all represented here. It's the tree of life. We suddenly find ourselves being shot up this trunk of the tree. We come out the other end, and now we're moving horizontally towards the distance of a much more mighty cobalt blue space, much brighter light. The sound cannot be described in human terms. The single note of a flute prevails. And we're moving into the distance towards one single thing floating in the very center of this vast space. Looks like a silver golden galaxy turning on its axis. Now you know where galactic forms came from. But this is not matter, energy, space, and time. And as we move through the outer layers of what we thought were stars, they're individual spherical beings revolving around a center. And we move right through them, realizing the distance between them is as vast as two stars in space. And as we move towards the center, we become aware that we are still there revolving around this center. And we come out into the interior. 1/3 of it is like, not a vacuum, but hollow. And there's a white disc-shaped island in the middle of it. Hovering above it is a massive, it's much larger than a silent mentor, 1,000 times bigger, thousands of teardrop-shaped layers of spectrums of light you can't even see in the lower worlds, hovering there. And as we move through the outer layers of that, we realize that two of those teardrop-shaped faculties, a whole of us pass between easily, are as vast as two stars in space. And then we suddenly find ourselves right in the middle of the brightest white golden light you could ever picture. We're in the very white core center of what is called the Ancient One, Prime Creator, Source. And we hear its deep, melodious baritone voice mixed with these celestial qualities of the feminine say to us, welcome home. You are here once again. And the purpose for your being here is to remember. It is also so that you can bring back some of the awareness and some of the pure hue expansion ray with you when you return to Earth. So it will pass down through your bodies, out through the walls of your home, and continue to do its work to bring about the raise in vibration on the planet so there can be a transformation. Now you must be returned. To stay here any longer, your physical bodies would perish on Earth. Be at peace. Here you are in eternal serenity of being. This you must teach or enlighten in the body you run on that planet. You will pass through the etheric, mental, causal, and astral forms with Satnam and Turelian, inspiring them to be awake and aware and looking at each other as we move down through Satnam's realm, through the void, through the barrier, into the etheric plane. You have a transparent body there standing on golden steps in front of some palatial palace on thousands upon thousands, hundreds of thousands of continent size, the size of planets, individual dwellings. In the mental plane, more vast than anything on Earth, well-dressed, healthful, youthful, 10-foot tall bodies. In this case, you all have bodies that look like the Zeontarnamus, tall ivory skin, violet eyes, long silver hair to your shoulders, lanky, longer fingers and arms. Very beautiful. They move like swans. And looking down to the causal body, the causal form is on hundreds of thousands of islands, all tropical, on worlds you can't imagine. But bodies and lives are living there. In that one, I am a diplomat between millions of planets. Down into the astral, thousands of tropical islands again, luminous blue oceans surrounding domed homes, like you have in the causal plane. And you're standing on a beach with bare feet, Atma hovering above you, aware of your causal, mental, etheric bodies. And you look down and see you are hovering the same sphere you are above your physical body in the trance state called sleep. The galactic lines couple, smiles at you, and vanish. You get to see from your body above, from there, the ceiling above your body, you can see them getting their bodies up on the Emerald Star Cruiser, mile-long cylindrical parent ship stationed the ice rings that circle the planet Saturn. And they smile at you. They're just gotten back to their bodies. The energy flows through you, through the sleeping body, through the walls of your home, connects to 3 massive pyramids that are on Earth now, 2 at the bottom of Earth's deepest oceans, 1 in the hollowed interior of a mountain in the Himalayas. There are fountains or devices in all 3. And the energy that moves through charging Earth's atmosphere continues through these pyramids. It connects to a more massive pyramid stationed between 2 stable asteroids in the asteroid field between Mars and Jupiter. And there it is beamed to the galactic core of the Milky Way galaxy, the axis, the so-called black hole, which isn't. And it's continued instantly all the way back to source, where we just came from. So now you're back, and when you're ready, open your eyes and we'll chat. Turn on your microphones, the two of you. That's what it's like to just visit one world in the Milky Way galaxy that is not Earth. It's certainly not the most advanced world, but it's among the more advanced worlds. Millions upon millions of them. You get ready for disclosure. You better get ready for acknowledging and waking up the awareness of such things. Either of you have any questions? Anything inspires you to want to talk about the journey, or Norexilam, or we went, the Void, Saddam's Realm, Hue Expansion Reacademy, Source back here. We went to a physical planet in our galaxy, in our same parallel dimension. And look how much more evolved it is than Earth. If it exists out there, it can exist on Earth. Right? But how do we get it brought to Earth so we can live like that as well? Or children can, or grandparents, or people that are born later. How do we do that? How do we fix the population problem on this planet? It's not going to be fixed by people on Earth. They're way too dumbed down and unconscious for that. It has to come from beings who are willing to help sort this out. And if we don't know them and respect them, how can they ever come here? Why would they? It's got to start with some of us, and then it just takes off. I'm not the owner of the source behind all life. I'm just a drop in it, like you. Any questions about that? Know it that well, do you? It's understandable that when you come back here, you can't think, because in reality, you're not using your brain to think. The mind might be thinking of asking certain questions, but remember this, that's your mental body you're running on the mental plane connected to you here. If you can't ask the questions, it will. But asking the right questions comes from the Atma that's running all those body forms on all those planes. That's what's waking up. Any questions?
Yeah, first of all, I just would like to express my heartfelt thanks to you. Always feeling overwhelming, grateful every time I went on the journey, and it is always hard to come back every time. Yeah, thank you for taking us to your homeland in Norexilam. I really enjoy it. And may have one question about the quantum travel. Is it the same as the direct projection?
As I read to you, quantum travel is derived from direct projection. It is a term made up on Earth by quantum physicists to explain a phenomena they can't do and they don't understand. They just know it is. They know it exists, this ability to just direct project, but they don't really know it consciously. It's just starting to wake up in scientists, advanced classified scientists on Earth mostly. So we have quantum travel is an Earth term for direct projection. It's not limited by space and time or the speed of light. This is something scientists have a hard time. They don't get the clarity of consciousness of it because they're mixing it up with something that says, oh, it can't go faster than 256,000 miles a second, and it takes billions of years for light to get to it. They'll never get to us. They're too far away, and they do all this junk in their head and block themselves from knowing because, oh, nobody can, it's too far away. Oh, no, those galaxies took billions of years for the light to reach us. It's just stupid. They're not thinking outside the box. They're thinking in a container. In the light as it affects the lower light that affects light to physical eyes for human beings on one planet. That's how they're thinking. That will never work. Does that make sense? So that's where that comes from. It's like Federation out there you hear on the internet. There's no Federation out there. That's Gene Roddenberry from Star Trek and Star Trek TV and motion picture series. A writer. Brilliant. But he was projecting science and physics and nuclear reactors as it was at his time out in space 2,000 years from now with radioactive warp cores driving ships beyond the speed of light. That's where that came from. And it was brilliant. It's a good idea, but you're not going to get radioactive warp cores in space working. Radioactive materials are not going to create enough power to get anywhere. It's never going to happen. So the science and technology that will leapfrog us beyond rocket ships is already on this planet. Some of it's been reverse engineered by classified scientists in the United States. Already done. There are people in high levels of power and industry that are doing their best to try to get to the stars but don't know this yet. So when that becomes more public, you can leapfrog into traveling among the stars. But we're not going to be able to take the next 10,000 years to develop it ourselves. We wouldn't survive it anyway without their help. Is that clear? What about you, V? Anything at all? Nothing? Oh, here we go.
The third term, there's a black hole and white hole, right? As I understand, black hole is like an outbound back to the source. So white hole should be inbound, right? Something back.
Yeah, but who can prove they've ever seen either one? All that people on Earth can say is it looks black at the center of the universe. It has all this gravity drawing all the light in, and it's destructive, would tear you apart. They don't understand it. And why would they see a white hole? Because they don't see a white hole. Where do they see that white hole? Somewhere in space, they see a white hole. And it works like a black hole, right? Except they can see it with physical eyes. But they do the same thing. They are not a one-way door. It's connected. There's no limit to movement up or down or through them, see? They're concentric generators, the center of galaxies. So they can take an energy from the astral galaxy they're connected to and transform it down to a slower frequency that works for this parallel dimension in the physical universe. There are levels. The Galactic Alliance and more advanced races know how to travel in ships between parallel dimensions. 144. It's a number. It's a spiritual number, you might say, based on threes. And there's 144 of those, and the Galactic Alliance is between all those levels, not just the planets in our parallel dimension, where the moon and the sun, the planets are. You know, and Norexilam is in this parallel dimension. Zeolite 1 is in this parallel dimension. Oceania is not. It's in the third higher parallel dimension of the physical universe. And if you know how to traverse it, you can just move your ship into higher frequency. There it is. You can go and land, come back. No problem. They go through doorways that are built into the structure of the multidimensional creation, maintained by silent mentors, by the way. So you might as well get to know those guys. Because when you go up there and you sit between them and master teachers on one side and them on the other, you are being changed. Not by me, and not by some ego, by source energy itself, to develop into something that's never existed before. It doesn't mean the basic being you are, the unique nature, would be destroyed. It means you become more of the qualities and characteristics of a silent mentor on one side and a master teacher on the other. There's got to be a reason why we'd go rub shoulders with them. It's not just so we can have some mindless entertainment. because they don't go in for mindless entertainment. None of them. Any other questions? Yeah, V.
About your 4 books, is it possible that the film investor, film director, come from
Sure.
people
Yeah.
in Thailand? In Thailand,
I don't think so. Because I don't think there's anybody connected enough to Hollywood in Thailand that could either get the funding or arrange anything to be done on these films. But there are people in the United States who are waking up, who are more than capable. But first, they have to find this work. It's not hidden, it's out there. If somebody I know, I won't mention a name, found that audiobook, heard it, and read this book, that person would instantly know its massive film potential. It's so well written, he couldn't help but know it. There are several people like that. And they won't even see this work on the internet until somehow, by some miracle, crosses their path. Otherwise, they're so busy with their own little things, they'll never see it. See? The one power behind creation manifests all open doors. I don't. I know I don't have the power to open those doors. I can develop and build to earth and make everything ready. But it takes certain people on earth to wake up enough to connect the dots. Does that make sense? Does it make sense to you? Because the one manifesting power that's manifested that galaxy behind Quan is what opens every door on any planet, between people, anywhere. It's not biased or prejudiced. It just, especially now, it moves through people in a unique new way. It moves through them now to help them recover what they were made to forget. But this time, waking up their higher abilities as a being with the wisdom to know how to keep it and never be vulnerable to be caught again. That includes me and all of you. So it's not just about me, is it? No, it never was anyway. If I could even impart a small fraction of what I had to go through to bring these things here, besides losing a life and being stuffed in a body and having to recover that before any of you, I don't even talk about it. I don't share those experiences with people. Why? I will share with people some of the few experiences I had with extraterrestrial life, waking this body up on this planet. In other words, waking up as an Atma. A few little experiences. Most of them I don't even talk about because people just couldn't comprehend them until they have high enough vibration to practically be able to see and understand what I'm talking about, just like you two do now, you three. And that includes me too. We see and know because we can see and know, or we don't see and know anything. Does that make sense? What do you suppose your IQ really is now? It can't be measured on Earth. For you to know what I've shared with you, it's not like anything you grew up with. It's not relative to any IQ measuring system on this planet. It's way beyond that now. You can't know the comparison because there's no one around you in life on Earth to compare it to give you any assurance of what it is you know. We only have each other for now. Eventually there will be billions. And the billions that are on this planet are too many people. They have to be relocated. When the time comes, 3/4 of the population on this planet will volunteer to go to other planets that have been prepared in the 144 levels. Remember? There's no limitation this way. I think that's very cool. If people could wake up enough to say, yeah, I'm one of those, I want to go to that planet. I'll take my family there, And no, you won't be allowed to take your steaks in a freezer with you. No. Life has to change a lot on Earth for people to play among the stars. Is it possible for people on Earth to change that much? Yes, but not by my power. The power that maintains that whole galaxy out there and silent mentors, they're involved in some way in this first ever change in creation. This work for the first time brings the awareness of these beings into the consciousness of people in the Galactic Alliance and Earth. Galactic Alliance personnel knew they existed but never had any contact with them. Somebody like Master Opelum and Donantalis, Fresh and Muntis, they would have had contact with them. These are the greatest genetic scientists that ever existed. Oceanans, Xantronamon planet, Xantromus. The Say rays are far more advanced in that way than any races in the astral and physical universes. They are the ones who brought up bodies in the form of twin-stranded, four-stranded, eight-stranded, and in some cases 12-stranded DNA like they had. This is ancient stuff, folks. Not new to be developed in the future. It already is. People on Earth need to recover. Well, not the bodies, but the atmas need to wake up enough to recover who they are. And the bodies just come along for the ride, right? The bodies follow where we lead them. You want to go to the store? What is the first thing you do unconsciously without even thinking about it? Picture where you want to go. I want to go to the Hearth restaurant. I know what it looks like inside. Okay, then my body will get in a car and go there. But I'm the one directing it to go there, not the brain of this lifetime. That's what people on Earth do not understand. This work helps them to recover that awareness. Small part of it. Did I answer all your questions? Yeah? Oh, V?
Can we all that awake keep sending the expansion ray to all people, all beings on this planet in order to let them be awakened sooner, something like that? Keep sending, wishing them every day, every day.
Well, you don't need to wish them anything. That's backed by doubt and fear. Do you know what hope is backed by? Hope has an opposite. Hope is hopeful. It's not confident. The opposite is doubt and fear. Right? So you want to get beyond hope into serenity of being. Serenity of being is a confident but humble state. It allows the one power in its living presence to move through us. We cooperate with it. It is not an ego or a being that manipulates you or controls you. There's nobody sitting on a throne up there in the source or prime creator. There just isn't. There never was. There is a source that manifests the presence that can speak with you, but it is a nexus where all atmas in the entire multidimension of creation, on every world and any plane, is connected. Because it started from there. It's always been at the source. I guess you could say the whole multidimensional creation below the void is beginning to wake up for the first time. That's real disclosure. It's not just about knowing extraterrestrials are out there. Of course they are. Look at all the stars behind Quan. Are we so stupid and arrogant to think that, oh, Earth's the only planet with life on it, and it takes billions of years for light to get to us, and nobody can reach us? Ooh. That is a self-made trap that keeps people locked into Earth's atmosphere. You are no longer in that trap. You're already free of it, even if you don't really realize it fully yet. Does that answer your questions? Then if I want to wish you all a great big trillion, number one. I know this took 2 hours, but think of it. Who would guide you on a 2-hour journey for the few dollars you pay for it. It's not expensive. Pari and I were talking about perhaps lowering a price back to $50 to go on these journeys. I don't know if it'll make any difference with people coming forward or not. I don't care. I think maybe, Pari, we should leave it up to the whole group of people that go on these journeys with us. We should ask them. That would be the best way to be respectful and see what they want to do. The guided book journeys are going to stay where they are. They are too involved and take so much time, 7 months of my life just to go every single week to guide you for hours, 3 on each chapter, because it takes that long to get through. They're becoming shorter. Tomorrow's journey will be shorter, but I'm going to read the whole chapter. As I tried to figure out how to read part of it and then part of it, but I think for all the people on the journey, I'll need to read it and Pari translate it so they can get the whole meaning of the whole chapter. Or you're going to miss big parts that are important not to miss. It's like something 6 pages long is now 5. But I'm going to read the whole chapter because otherwise you're going to miss too much. So if you all want to, I think we've already agreed, we would start another book series weekly, same time, for the Guardians of the Ancient One. You still want to do that?
Yeah, we already agreed.
Okay, so
They all know that we start on the 23rd of August my time.
get ready for a deepening adventure of this trilogy. I wish I could state I'm such a genius with a photographic memory. I'm so bright as a being. I just created all this stuff out of my little noggin that I grew up with on Earth. No, I didn't. No, I did not. No, not possible. I know where this came from. It didn't come from Earth. It came from lives and beings and friends and teachers. Torellian, all had an influence on this development. They knew before I did. Well, they knew as I knew it as well, simultaneously, that this new expansion ray would be underway in the lower worlds of time and space. It was co-creative, let's put it that way. Each one of you have a co-creative destiny with Source. This is waking up in you, all of you. It's continuing to wake up in me. So, 2 thumbs up and a Galactic Alliance salute. And we'll bring this recording to a stop.